Good morning, everybody. How are you? It's Timmy, and I'm talking for 15 minutes. Um, if you like what you're hearing, I've told them my voice is very calming, so this is what it's going to be. Click the subscribe button down below and follow. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram and those social media outlets. Um, how's everybody been doing? I've been okay. I've been okay. I have been home during the pandemic and probably going to be home from the pandemic until that there is um, a vaccine. I was just reading this morning that Russia, whom they think that they're in a race with America, that they've gotten a vaccine. Now I don't know who's going to take it because anything rushed that fast for something this serious, bound to make you have another set of arms the next day. But yeah, they are convinced that they have gotten a cure to COVID-19. So there's that. Let's talk about mail-in ballots for a spell. Yeah, we have to talk about it because it's an election year. And we know that 45 is trying to cheat and is actively cheating with the help of Russia again. I watched a special on Trump and his dissent of the Constitution and how he has just shattered all the norms. And he basically doesn't have a campaign strategy. He is using the government and the power of the government that the president has to basically do a power grab to maintain power of this country. Because he knows if and when he loses, Letitia James, the Attorney General of the state of New York, is going to have an orange jumpsuit ready for him. I'm not worried. I'm worried that presidency is shot to hell. Hopefully, a new person who will restore the honor that office holds. Hopefully. Maybe that'll be Joe Biden. Maybe that'll be Nancy Pelosi in an interim presidency, because that's what it's looking like. Donald Trump's game is he doesn't want people to vote. And during this pandemic, every state is upping their game in mail-in ballots. That's how the Republicans have been doing it for years, because there are a lot of old people who are still Republicans, and they can't make it to the polls or stand in line. So they use mail-in ballots. So now that the Democrats want to utilize that same system that Republicans are using, and have been for years, it's become a fraudulent thing. It's become rife with fraud. Only in the Democratic states. Mind you, we have states that already vote by mail exclusively. Utah, Oregon, to name a few. That's all they have is mail-in ballots. They haven't had a problem. And if there has been a problem, it's been 0.1%, which is basically none. So, there's that. And one more thing about that. Every time Trump says that there's going to be mail-in ballot fraud, it turns out to be the Republicans doing it. Let that sink in. But then everything about this president is distraction or deflection. When he says there's going to be something, he's already doing it. That's his tell. He's a bad poker player. Every time we know what's going on in the Trump camp, because Trump runs his mouth and he tells us, or when he accuses the Democrats of doing it, it's because he is already doing it. Now, if you haven't realized this tell about him yet, you need to. That's how we know that we can stay ahead of him. Think about it. He says it in everything. He runs his mouth. It's a tell. It's a tell. Before every rally, we're gonna have record numbers. Blah blah blah. He if you're in, I'm not going to say that I'm an expert on Trump, but I do know bullshit when I see it. So everything Trump has ever said about Barack Obama, he's now emulating and hoping that you won't go back and look up what he said, because he's now doing it. Example, executive orders. Obama's writing illegal executive orders, playing golf, blah, blah. Everything that he is now doing. More so. But someone forgot to tell Donald Trump that when you write an executive order, it has to be legal. It has to have an argument for the American people. It can't be self-serving, because then that's not an executive order. That's just you writing some shit on a piece of paper of some stuff you want done for you, to make you look good. And out of this whole time of him being president, he has not learned that. He hasn't learned that being president isn't self-serving. You can't enrich yourself. You are the president for everyone. Your decisions affect the American people, even the ones that voted for you. He's not even representing them. We are not going to realize or know the true damage Donald Trump has done to this country until he's gone, because all of his enablers are covering it up. And they fired all of the oversight that would let us know that, the American people. So I've been making videos, and I've been trying to tell you guys, and I've been trying to speak directly to you. You have to learn how government works. Because if you don't know how government works, it's just a man in a powerful position stealing from you. Now, it's not a secret that most Republicans and most Congress people, period, want to keep you in the dark. Even some of the Democratic ones, they want to keep you in the dark. They represent you, but sometimes they don't have your best interests at heart. They get to Washington and they think this shit is a game that they play with each other. But the one thing this pandemic has shown us, has exposed, rather, this country is filled with idiots. People who don't read, people who just want to be told anything so they don't have to read, lazy, buffoons, uneducated. Let that sink in for a minute. It's always been here, but we've been busy with our lives, going to work. This pandemic has slowed America down so much, we can see the foolishness floating through the air. They won't the mask debate. If you're not wearing a mask by now, after knowing what we all know, you deserve not to be here. You don't get to breathe our air if you think your air is better than mine. Oh, and they do. They do. Examples are all over the place. The spike in the numbers are all over the place, and they know the facts. They know the facts, but Donald Trump has convinced them that we have to show them that this is not as serious as it pretends to be. That it actually is. Not pretend. Hell, people are dying. So, and you say to yourself, well, how is it that anyone is still listening to him? I'm going to tell you why. Donald Trump is talking to a group of people that think that you and I, or women, people of color, minorities, Mexicans, foreigners, have a place in this world beneath them. He's speaking directly to that. He's doing what the Republican Party's playbook has always done. Keep poor white people poor and thinking that they are better than minorities and any other person that isn't white. And when you have them thinking that, you can pick their pockets all day long. That's a quote I learned this week. And it turns out to be the truth. They've been doing it since the Civil War. Since the Civil War. That is how they keep the status quo. These poor states in America, I mean, just poor, are filled with white people on entitlement programs, which they've conveniently changed from welfare because they put the black face on welfare. I can't be on welfare. That's crack mothers living in the inner cities. Ronald Reagan did that shit. But we know who's on entitlement programs. And the Republicans are still trying to take that shit away from their own people. They already said you don't deserve $600. That's more than what you would make if you were at work. You don't need it. Because I'm telling you, you don't need it. And what are they doing? Yes, sir. I guess I don't. Moratorium on evictions has ended. Now, here's what the true test is, though, for the Republican Party. For America, period. When poor Republicans finally realize that they've been duped and have been duped for years, used in a pawn to keep the black and brown man down, what are they going to do? Mind you, though, they still think they're better than you. But what are they going to do? Where are they going to turn? That is a $100 million question. Not to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell never gave a damn. He never gave. In fact, Mitch McConnell has been the epitome of the broken government. Barack Obama got elected in 2008. Mitch McConnell went on record saying everything he does is he's going to fail. We're going to make sure of it. And when the Democrats lost power in 2010, that's when government broke. Mitch McConnell made sure of it. All because a black man became president. Now, we know what the fear is. The fear is very evident. Most white men are inferior. They know it. They prove it every day in their actions. You can bring a gun to the picnic, but my potato salad is going to taste better than yours. And that's just the truth. Now, I know it's subject to taste, but it's the truth. And you can use that analogy in pretty much anything. It's a head scratcher, but not really. Not really. And I say this with genuineness in my heart. The generation that's keeping racism alive, when they die off, you'll find it's going to get better from there. There is a particular generation that's still alive in this country that keeps this hate floating around. And the pandemic has only made us realize it even more. Ask yourself, if the police officers who murdered George Floyd didn't murder George Floyd, what would we be talking about? The inequities in testing and how black and brown people are dying at an exorbitant rate than white people during this pandemic, and people not wearing masks. Oh, and the government not taking care of its own citizens instead of taking care of companies and not distributing the wealth the way it should be. George Floyd was a distraction for all that. A much needed distraction because that was bound to happen at some point. And there's a million George Floyds that didn't get this exposure. There's still no justice for Breonna Taylor. Just too much to talk about in 15 minutes. But 15 minutes is all you're going to get. Because I don't want to appear to be rambling. So, check me out on TikTok. Check me out on Instagram. I will keep you updated. Vote. Register to vote. Don't lollygag. And don't fall for the okie-doke. That's all I got for you. Have a blessed day, a blessed week. Until the next time. Remember, click the subscribe button. Oh, and buy Timmy Nation Inc. merchandise at the timmynationinc.org website. All of the muscle shirts have sold out. Thank you to you. And I appreciate you.